Okay, so do you want to introduce yourself or? It's awkward. Just yeah.
What's up, everybody? Is it a casual thing or is it like praise the Lord?
How you ever feel?
What's up, everybody? My name is Jordan Sanders.
You suck at introducing yourself. Oh my goodness.
Because I never have to.
Okay.
Okay, so what should I say? My name and that's it, or
you can say George Sanders. I am the youth pastor. Like I want credentials. I want to know.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Hey, everybody. My name is Jordan Sanders. I'm the youth pastor at the Apostolic Church of Jesus Christ, serving alongside Allie here.
It's alexxavonn. I'm just playing.
I'm sorry.
I'm just playing.
Serving alongside. Your girl, alexxavonn. I sound like Kiera when I said that.
Yes, alexxavonn. Anyway, well, thank you for joining me today. This is my first guest on the platform. Woo! Let's big claps for Jordan. So what you guys don't know is this is like my best friend, and he just decided that he was okay with coming on to what is this, my show, just to discuss some things about church, and especially probably like the young people's perspective. And yeah, so it's gonna be really informal, but yeah, let's take it away. Anything on your mind in particular?
I think one of the things that's really relevant right now is young people's perspective with church, as far as virtual church and what our place is, and a lot of common questions. Do we have a place right now with virtual church not being in the building? And a lot of churches, I think, struggle with that as far as like what to do when you're not there, but you still have people that you don't want to lose.
Well, that's a huge one. I think, and it's so crazy because it's like, on one hand, I've been saying we need to expand and we need to, start doing the live stream thing and all that kind of stuff. But it's like, seeing that this might be more long term than what we hoped, it's kind of opened my mind to like, hey, we kind of need to do more than just the Sunday morning standard. We're gonna have to, because you have to find a way to have fellowship, especially when you can't be around each other in large numbers. So it's like, what can we do, you know what I mean, to kind of keep that going? It's like, I have some ideas, but it's like, I'm a young person, so my voice doesn't hold as much weight as I would like for it to hold. And bridging that gap is a lot more difficult than people would assume. Some people, I know I've talked to people like outside the church realm, and they're like, well, why can't you just say such and such and such? It's so easy for them, but they don't understand that church has its own chain of command and politics and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think and the issue, like you talked about bridging the gap, so there was already an issue while we were in the church building of there not being a really effective advocate for the youth, or some places you have one advocate and that's the youth pastor, and he or she has to go back and forth between the youth and the leadership. Some churches you don't have that. And so with us not being in the building, now it's like they no longer see us, and then our voice starts to fade back more than
that's a good one. Yeah,
more than what it already was in the first place.
Yep, that was good. No, because that is true, because so much of them acknowledging you is them being able to see you on a Sunday to Sunday, Wednesday night basis, so then when they don't even see you, it's like out of sight, out of mind,
Yeah.
So
and I think like how this pandemic and being in quarantine has caused us to take a self-evaluation of our personal relationship with God and how we interact with Him not in the church. I think we also have to do that same evaluation as far as how we interact with the other members of the church not in the church. So yeah, I don't see you Sunday and Wednesday. Do I still call you? Do I still text you?
Come on, you
do we interact on Facebook or whatever social media, or is it just I acknowledge you because I see you, but if I'm not seeing you, I'm not acknowledging you. So I think that may be some of what's happening right now.
So that means that there has to be a certain amount of intentionality in how we communicate with each other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like the
say poetry, baby. Snaps.
I think the like the fellowship of the koinonia, the fellowship of the saints.
First of all, y'all understand that he's flexing right now. Not just playing. Go ahead.
But I think that fellowship that the Bible talks about can be more than just in the four walls of the church.
Yeah.
Like, we fellowship when we come and see each other on Sundays or on Wednesday, but do we, even little simple things is, do we go for walks around the park and just talk? Or do we meet up at the park? Or do we go to eat? Or do we even talk on the phone? Or do we, like you and I and other youth, we talk on the phone, we meet up, we go eat, and we do whatever. But a lot of times, you see the older saints, they do it too, but there is no
like
cross-generational relationship.
And I've always been talking about that because it's like that's why you don't feel like young people are prepared, because you don't know them. Yeah.
And then when you see them do something, they're super duper surprised, like, oh, I didn't know you had that in you.
You know how many people
I didn't know you could do that.
Shocked.
I didn't know you could do that.
Because I open my mouth, like, excuse me?
So it's like, they're so shocked and surprised. It's like, and then you have the other people who are in that older generation who do know you, and they're like, why are y'all
so shocked? Yeah.
Like, they've been, if you paid attention, they've basically been doing this their whole life.
Yeah. That's accurate. Yeah. So what do you think, as we move forward, what are your ideas, or what do you think we could do to kind of maybe attempt to go to our leadership and bridge those gaps and stuff like that?
I think in a lot of churches, one of the issues is the accessibility to the leadership or to the leader. Because a lot of times you will find that there is a lot of middlemen or middle people, or before you get to the leader, and you may have an excellent idea that that is in the heart of the leader, and the leader would really go for, but the middle people sometimes don't have the heart of the leader. So what happens is your ideas or what you think get shot down and stopped before they get to the leader.
You saying a lot of things without saying nothing at all. Yeah.
And so
accessibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think if accessibility is no longer that much of an issue, then you could start to see more of youthful ideas implemented in whatever case it may be.
Okay. So you said accessibility was one of the key ways that we can start to move forward to, crossing that generational gap when it comes to young people and their voice being heard in the church. And then you, I think maybe transparency, if you want to elaborate on that.
Yeah, I think one of the issues that we see is that One of the issues, along with that cross-generational relationship, or the absence of, is that older generation does not want to be as transparent as they want us to be. And here's what I mean when I say that.
Okay.
They want, bring all your issues, tell us all about it, blah, 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 blah. But then, and then they paint us as, you're just young and doing whatever and just sinning and boom, boom. But let's discuss what you did.
Yeah.
Talk to me about how you were doing the same thing, but you are now saved and living the life as a Christian. Tell me about that. Because see, a lot of times they expect us to just live the life within the example of them at the end of their life.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't want to talk about start to finish. They just want to talk about this finished, this perfect and holy
product, as though they've been that their whole life. No, that's completely accurate, because I think another thing is, because they're not transparent, then they don't have as much grace towards young people, because they feel like, well, they're auditing themselves as they are today, and not as they were when they were our age and they were out there. Or also, they might be doing, because they know what they were doing at our age, they feel like, oh, no, we can't, blah, blah. That's why they wait till you get about 30 years old before they want to put you, in a position or give you a certain office or something like that. And I'm actually it's kind of like interesting to see, people like you or Alden or somebody like that who have gotten to this point at a younger age, because consistently they haven't been allowing for that. So I feel like the Spirit is moving towards that direction. It's just gonna take it's still some more to do though. But yeah, definitely transparency is one of the things that we need in order to kind of when you take those walls down, it allows for so much more growth, on either end, I would say, because I feel like when you allow yourself to be vulnerable in that way, then you grow as a Christian as far as, how to like reach other non-believers and how to, encourage your brothers and sisters. Because I feel like it's not enough testimony, it's not enough healing going on. And part of that is because we lack transparency.
And that transparency will help to build those cross-generational relationships. So then you have no issue hanging out with sister so-and-so or hanging out with pastor so-and-so or so-and-so, because, I know them. And despite what I'm going through, they're still loving me through it. Not in it, they're not condoning whatever it is I'm doing, but they still love me enough to say, look, here's, a scripture for this. I'll pray for you with that. I'll talk to you through that. I'm not just going to leave you aside.
That's a big one. I feel like that's kind of why some young people, when they reach a certain age, they kind of don't come to church as much, because if you don't feel accepted, why would you stay? Why would you keep attending some place that you don't even feel like you belong? And if we have more transparency, then you can understand that it's not a bunch of perfect people in these four walls. Like, they call the church a hospital for a reason. Like, you don't go to a hospital, even say you are fine, right? And you're just coming for your checkup. You still need to be there. You have a reason. So don't act like, there couldn't be things that's going on. And I feel like there's certain cancers that are lurking around the church that have this veil of perfection that makes it then harder for somebody. And it's not just young people who have this. I have talked to older people who feel like certain leaders especially need to have more transparency in order for them to feel more comfortable. Yeah, that's true.
I think a lot of these things also boil down to how secure I am with myself. So if I'm a leader and I'm trying to reach people, but I'm not secure in myself, then no, you won't be hearing my testimony. And like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna, no, because I'm not secure enough to say, you know, yep, when I was a teen, I used to do drugs.
Right.
Or, you know, whatever the case is.
I would even argue further, current testimonies. Like, let's talk about how you raggedy now. Like, no, but for real though, because I think that's another thing. When it's so far back that it's like, so you ain't doing nothing now, you just perfect, you just walking around here,
right.
You're not, you know, and it's like, no, let's talk about, even if you don't feel like it's, so I think another thing, some people weigh their sins, and sin is sin, so it's equal, you know what I mean? So I think that they feel like, well, because I'm not doing this thing that we as humans feel is up here as far as like, oh, that's a big one, that's a big sin, you know, but you know, they say murderers is bad in the Bible, but they say liars are bad as well. Everybody got their part, you know, and like, so sin is sin. Like, let's please don't.
Listen, I'm just doing
a little baby sin,
just a little
bit of sinning, just a little bit. You got a lot. Dude.
I ain't doing that.
Right,
I ain't doing that. I'm just lying a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
I ain't killing nobody. I'm just lying
a little bit. And so, I was gonna say something, but I don't know if people ready to cross that bridge. But you know, people want to talk about like fornication or homosexuality, and they think because they not doing those things that they cool, and it's like, no.
You still lying, cheating, stealing,
and you probably, you know, and the way you're cursing me, you talking about me so bad, you know, that's that plays a part too. You're not
like, and it's like
people think they are just Snow White,
and the frustrating part about it is that a lot of you see that like around like ages, I would say 40 and above, they don't sin, but but everybody under that,
right,
sin,
walking around just sinful.
And I'm like, you don't just preach to me about how young people sin. Preach to me about how old people sin too.
Okay, look, it's across the board.
This is, you know.
And then want to take your confessions and put it in their sermon. Am I stepping too far? Am I stepping too far?
What's the saying? If I step on your toes, just say ouch.
Look, only hit dogs holler, but I don't care. But yeah, so transparency is a big one then. Definitely a big one. I would also say, let's see here. We said accessibility, transparency. What would you call like accountability? There we go. Accountability for when you have those, I don't want to say underlings, what do you call them? Just other people who are not, maybe not the top leader, but also have a considerable amount of power in the decision-making process.
Staff members.
There we go. There's no accountability for them when they hurt other people. Let's just say it like that. And this is a generation of people, of like social justice warriors. Yeah. So
they will go to bat for anything now.
So any type of mistreatment is now on a different scale, and they just not having it. Like, I think church is so used to a culture,
sweeping under the rug.
Sweeping under the rug, and also like this person's word is law, and so I don't want to rock the boat. But the new generation is all boat rockers.
Cause I am. Cause let me give a testimony.
Go ahead.
I used to, when I was like much younger, you know, whatever, you know, the leader said to do, or whoever was in charge of whatever auxiliary or whatever. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I'm on it. Even if I didn't necessarily A, want to do it, or B thought it was, if I agree with it.
Right.
I'm like, okay, I'll take care of that, do whatever. But as I've gotten older, I'm like, I need to be assertive and stand for what I believe in.
Yes.
And just not let people walk over me.
Come on.
And so, I'm seeing myself grow in the fact of no. Like, yes, it is okay to say no. Because no, maybe they may not want to hear no, but no may be good for you. Because only you know what you're dealing with, what you're going through, or what you don't want to do.
Accurate. You know what? And that kind of also segues into another thought of the idea of mental health in the church. Because I feel like, especially the Black church specifically, we're sorely lacking in valuing how important that is. And sometimes you'll hear sermons where people are talking about people who have gone through different things. And it's kind of painful, actually, to have expressed yourself, and because you think the church, because it's supposed to be a hospital and it's supposed to be open for that kind of thing, to say that you have struggled, mentally, and you've wanted to. I know personally that, because with like my style of like preaching and is really just talking and almost confessional. I kind of just let people into, I think that vulnerability is important. So I just kind of let people into my world and the way I've been thinking, and to express myself like that. And then to also hear somebody else come up and preach, and they're talking about like how, these people, they weak because they want to kill themselves or blah, 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 blah. And it's like, just because you haven't personally struggled in that area doesn't mean that you can talk about people who have. Like, it's so crazy to me that that's something that people do, and that people consistently get up on the pulpit and like talk about mental health as though it's not a real issue. Like, I'm sorry, me saying hallelujah and praising, that's not a, like, what do you think that's going to be? There might be a band-aid for the moment, but then I have to go home. That's another reason why I feel like we need to stop focusing so much on Sunday. Sunday has become so traditional, ceremonial to us, or maybe our Bible class night, that we don't try to reach out to each other throughout the rest of the week. It's like you spend maybe 2 or 3 hours in church, and then the rest of the 160 something hours that you live, you're not around that. You're not around that environment. You're not getting that help. And it's like, if you don't have people who are intentionally reaching out to you and speaking to you and, just praying for you or something like that, then you could feel really alone. Because I felt that. So I know it's true. And I've talked to many people who have that same feeling. And it's so many young people who, that is like, that mental health, like, that is such a huge part. Because think about it, young people are developing right now. They're still becoming adults. So yes, that's a huge part of them getting over to the other side. And then when you become a Christian, you get tried in different ways that you don't get tried when you're just a regular, non-believer. So how much more do we need help then?
But you know what I'm finding out, and it's really so sad, that we've turned church from the hospital that you speak of into a museum. It's like you come and you're on display. There's your, the facts about you and whatever else people have included in there. You look at different people. Oh, there's so-and-so, there's that, But it's like there's nothing, you leave the same way you came. And if I'm going to a hospital leaving the same way I came, it's not a good hospital.
Come on now.
So I'm seeing this like, this is more so a museum. We're on display
Ooh.
to look at people and to, to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And then, we go.
That was good. A museum. That's a good. I'm being serious, so that was a good one because it's like, yeah, just on display, small description. And that's it. There's no, in a hospital, they take a full inventory of how you feeling right now, height, weight, all that kind of stuff, because so much goes into how they then diagnose and treat you. So it's like if they're not trying to see you and see all the individual parts, then they don't really, it's like, okay, you don't care. And I'm gonna leave here still being sick with no further knowledge, no further, anything like that. Yeah, that was good. A museum it's just on display. That was good. So we would say accountability, accessibility, transparency, intentionality is what I'll kind of use to glomp those things together.
Yeah, and I think what I think is happening, and this is kind of another topic related, but what I think is happening with all this corona and how
the C word. Go ahead.
And how churches are evolving and moving more so to virtual. The question that I posed earlier: where do we stand, or where do we fit in this new virtual church? Because I know a lot of the thing. Y'all, think about it. With this, a lot of people were already looking for a way out.
Okay.
They were trying to decide, is this a place I want to stay? Do I want to move to a new church?
Okay, yeah.
Do I, what do I want to do? I don't want to just up and leave in the middle of whatever's going on. But then this pandemic happened, and some people are like, this is my way out.
Phew, yeah.
They're like, okay, I ain't even had to do anything. They shut down the churches, I'm good.
Yeah.
But then you still have the groups of like, that are ready to go back, and but then you have the young people who are like, wondering what to do.
I agree. I feel like especially with the young people, it's the two fighting against each other. It's like the people who want to leave, like the young people are like, I'm done, blah blah blah, and then those who are desiring that connection. And how do we reach both of them? Because we don't want to lose anybody, but I feel like there's not enough, I'm saying again, intentionality towards either side of that, of people who desire the connection and then people who want to leave, because some leadership kind of disregards when somebody wants to leave their church, instead of examining, I would say, like, okay, this person wants to leave, what are the factors that are contributing to this feeling? And then, like, how can we change? Or is there anything that we've done? What do I need to do to kind of, because it's like, if you think about what a shepherd, okay? And, they're supposed to chase after that one, right? Like, I feel like that's supposed to transition to us, to the body. And I feel like a lot of these shepherds, not necessarily the top shepherd, but just people who are part of that group, are not caring about that one because they got the 99. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah,
and I think just like colleges do and universities, how they measure their retention rate and keep track of that.
Yes.
I think churches should do the same thing.
Yes.
How many, from year to year, from 2016 to 2017, 2018, 2019, where were we in membership? Where do we, if they have a graph, where do we decline? Where do we grow? What seasons did we grow? What seasons did we, fall short?
Yeah.
Because then it's like, okay, I know that and then you can even start to factor in some of the environmental issues. For instance, a pandemic. I know that from January or February to September, this was going on and membership dropped. But I also know in 2018, this was going on and membership went up. So it's like, how do we retain people? Like, what do we need to change? I seen on Facebook a pastor or somebody who mentioned exit interviews. If someone leaves your church, exit interview, what brought you to this decision? Is there anything we can do that can, help with that? Or basically, tell us what's wrong. Let's see if we can fix it.
Because the crazy thing, like a lot of people who leave, and this is old and young, because I've talked to both sides, I feel like some of it is just, I feel like I'm not seen. And then they want to go somewhere where they are like, it's more attractive seeming because it seems like they are all in your face and they want to know, they care. There's so much like, people are not going to care what you know until they know that you care. Like that extends to the church as well. And I think that we that's where we drop the ball a lot. But I also think besides just retention of like members, I think we also as a church need to start seeing, okay, this person has been here since 2008. Where are they at spiritually? I feel like as a leader, that's something you should look at, because it's some people who are just sitting there and they haven't changed. And they are not getting involved in the church. They're not, they don't speak in tongues on Sunday. Like you never see them do any of these type of things. And I just feel like you have to wonder, okay, where are they at? And then that's when you become intentional about like talking to them and seeing, where are you at? And how about you get plugged up in this? And like, what are your hobbies? What are your interests? What do you do for a living? Oh, this is where we can use you here, blah, blah, blah. Like, if this person's not an active working member in the body, I feel like you need to start questioning that. And I feel like with young people, so many young people are just like, I don't really know what my gifts are. I don't really know, where I fit in. And it's like, if we had that generational, that cross-generational intentionality, we could have some people who are like, hey, I kind of see traits of a deacon in you, or I kind of see you be singing all the time. You should join the choir, like. Right. And then that young person might feel more comfortable if you have always been in their face, like. And I say in your face, I mean like if you've always been talking to them, always been checking in, and then you say, I see this in you, it's more believable. And then it helps them like, so I do have a place here, and I can connect in this way. And that, because you have to build a foundation, you have to establish roots in order for you to stay planted somewhere. So many people don't have roots, so then they don't have to stay planted. You're so annoying.
No, but that's the truth. Like I have no investment here.
Right.
So if I were to just get up and go,
it's not going to mean anything. Yeah. So, no, this is good. Okay, we might have to have a part 2.
Yeah, I think.
Because this video is getting kind of long, but it's okay. This is good conversation.
It is. Healthy conversation that I hope will help somebody. I
do too. But we don't want to hold you guys for too long.
We don't want to try your patience.
Yeah, okay. So we are going to close things here, but I will definitely have Jordan back on the platform. Once again, this is Pastor Jordan Sanders at Apostolic Church of Jesus Christ. I will definitely link to his socials in the description box so you can follow him. And I also, do you have a Cash App?
Yes.
I will put his Cash App down in the description as well so you guys can sow a seed. Trying to be nice to my guests. Yes, I'll definitely have to have you back. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Check the description for links to, like I said, his social media, also to different articles that you might find helpful and related to this topic. And I have been alexxavonn. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.
Bye.